opportunity to have a special speaker, Miss Allyson Pereira, and she'll be sharing with us some things that we feel as a staff are very pertinent to you today, especially if you use cell phones and you have a cell phone, and a lot of things that go on there, and just some good information today. Hopefully we're going to have a video. Connie is going to see if we can download it, bring it back to show in just a little bit here. But until we can get that settled, I'm going to open this up with a word of prayer, and then we're going to get started. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for this time together today, and we thank you for our speaker who has come to share with us, Lord, what we believe to be pertinent information for our students, Lord, to help them, Father, to make good decisions, to make wise decisions, Lord, in life and in the way they do things and the way they present themselves, Lord. Father, we just ask that you would bless this time, Lord, and that everything that's said and done would honor your name and exalt your Son, Jesus. And Father, we give you all the praise and all the glory and all the honor, for it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
When I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, a topless picture of me with two of my best friends circulated around my high school, to surrounding schools, to parents, teachers, bosses, siblings, cousins, friends, and even to my own parents. In a matter of days, the picture was sent to 4 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 4 high schools. This picture would continue to haunt me for the rest of my life, even today, as it is still out there and there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. To better understand my story, you have to know what I was like in high school. When I first started high school, I was a straight-A, fully involved student with a lot of friends. I went to church every Sunday and never even cursed. Kids used to joke around and call me goody-goody because of the way that I acted. I had never even had a boyfriend before high school because my parents were really strict. And they had a rule that once you started high school, you could start dating and not any time beforehand. I wasted no time using that privilege, and from my freshman year to my sophomore year, I dated the same boy. At first, our relationship was great. We hung out and had a lot of fun together. We even met each other's families. Being that he was my first boyfriend and that I was still young, I naively thought that we were in love, going to get married, and live happily ever after. I literally was infatuated with him and thought he was the perfect boyfriend. Until out of the blue one day, he broke up with me. We didn't speak for an entire month and I was crushed. I couldn't understand why he would dump me when everything seemed so perfect, and I was heartbroken because I really cared for him. After about 4 weeks of completely ignoring me, he texted me saying, "If you send me a naked picture of yourself, I'll get back together with you." It was my best friend's birthday, so me, her, and our other best friend were all hanging out for the night. I didn't think about what I was doing, and impulsively, wanting to do everything I could do to get him back, I quickly took a topless picture with my head cropped out and my 2 best friends' faces in the picture. Me and my friends laughed about it, and I didn't think twice about clicking the send button. What I didn't know by clicking send is that I would be changing my life and who I was forever in that one instant. My ex-boyfriend never answered that picture message, nor did we ever talk again. And the following day at a school function, I noticed a lot of people had their phones out and seemed to all be looking in my direction. I didn't even consider the picture getting sent out until I passed my ex and his friends in the hallway, and they all pointed at me, laughed, and opened their phones. In that moment, all the pieces fell into place, and I realized what he had done with the picture. But I still had no idea just how bad it would get, or that he had sent it to everyone in his contact list. In that moment, I felt deep regret, anger, and sheer embarrassment. I couldn't believe that I had been so stupid to think that a naked picture would get my ex-boyfriend back, and I was scared of who would see the picture, getting into trouble, and my reputation being ruined. Almost immediately, the harassment began. In school, I was taunted in the hallways with harsh words like hoe, whore, and slut. People would reenact the picture in the hall every time they passed me. Someone even stood on a chair in the cafeteria and shouted, "Allyson Pereira is a slut," while the entire lunch lunchroom looked at me and laughed. It got so bad that I was afraid to walk the halls alone and would beg my friends to walk with me from class to my locker, and even to the bathroom. I was terrified of being cornered alone because of all the hate that was being aimed at me. I had the picture sent to my phone at least 10 times a day and published to my social network at least once a day. I had to delete my social network out of fear that my parents would see the picture and the harsh comments on it. Girls would threaten to beat me up on a daily basis because their boyfriends had received the picture and they didn't want their boyfriends looking at another girl like that. Girls would come to my classroom doors and pretend to flash me through the windows. And while most of the nastiness came from the girls in my school, the boys were no better. Many of them used to tell me that I would never get another boyfriend because everyone had already seen everything that I had to offer, and that no one would want to go out with the girl who everyone seen naked. The picture wasn't just affecting my life either. It had started to affect my family's life too. My younger brother's friend sent him the picture and told him to check his phone. Because my face wasn't in the picture, he didn't know it was me. They asked him what he thought, and he said hot. They said, "That's messed up, that's your sister." Someone even put paint cans in my pool and rolled a tire into my glass front door. But because I was so scared and embarrassed, I thought that there was no one I could go to for help without getting into trouble for the mistake that I had made. When the vice principal found out, he came to my classroom and walked me to his office where I called my mom. I initially denied the whole thing and made up lies, but the truth came out eventually. My mom was angry at first, but after she had time to cool off, when she realized how badly I was being treated in school, she called a family meeting and decided we would get through it together. Looking back, telling my mom what was happening was the smartest thing I did. My mom and my family helped me. My ex-boyfriend never apologized to me, and nothing ever happened to him or me for sending the picture. Surprisingly, we could have both been charged with child pornography charges, and in this particular case, I could have potentially been charged with more than him. While he could have been charged with distribution of child pornography, I could have been charged with creating and sending child pornography. We both could have faced having to register as sex offenders until we were 40 years old, but I also could have faced up to 10 years in prison for just taking the picture. Luckily, I worked with Assemblywoman Pamela Lambert on changing the sexting laws in New Jersey. After a unanimous vote, Sexting Bill A 1561 was signed into law and has now removed the sex offender status from some underage sexting cases. Now if a person is in a similar situation I was in, they can go to the local police department and ask for help without risking jail time or having to register as a sex offender. The new law requires that first-time offenders go to court-mandated therapy sessions. Despite New Jersey's sexting law passing, many other states, and unfortunately New Jersey, still try underage teens as sex offenders, and many teens are registered in numerous states until they are adults. Even with New Jersey's new sexting law, it is still up to the individual prosecutor in the case whether or not he or she considers the picture under the sexting law or under the child pornography law. Someone who I met on a TV program, Philip Alpert, was 18 when he and his girlfriend broke up. He was angry with her, so he sent a couple of naked pictures he had of her to her entire contact list via email. Even her grandparents and parents received the naked pictures. Unfortunately for Phil, his ex-girlfriend's father was a cop, and he was arrested the following morning. He was found guilty and had to register as a sex offender and served 4 years probation. He can't live within a certain radius of a school zone, playground, or church, and he can't cross state lines. He's been fired numerous times, has great difficulty finding a job, and when his family moved to Virginia, he had to stay in Florida on his own. He's not allowed to have a Facebook or any social network sites. He can't afford cable TV, and he had to turn down a full scholarship to the school of his dreams because he was registered. He also has to attend weekly classes with real-life sex offenders and hear their stories about rape, molestation, and kidnapping. A couple years ago, Florida passed a sexting law similar to New Jersey's law, but because his girlfriend was 17 and Philip had just turned 18, Philip is not grandfathered into the new law and therefore remains on the sex offender list. The picture that I sent my ex-boyfriend was meant only for his eyes, and he betrayed that trust and showed everyone he knew. I became that girl in school, the girl with the picture, and for many years I let the picture define me. I would become embarrassed and ashamed when my bosses would bring up the picture. When parents of kids I went to school with told me they had seen it and invited me over for chocolates and wine because of it, and when a substitute teacher refused to give me the bathroom pass until I promised not to take any more pictures in the bathroom, as the entire class looked on and laughed. It took me a very long time to realize that I was not in the wrong they were. Yes, it was my fault for taking the picture in the first place and for sending it. I should have known better, been smarter, and made wiser choices. But I was 16 years old, naive, and never in a million years would have thought the picture would go viral. Despite all this, I didn't deserve to be bullied, torn apart, and reminded of a mistake day in and day out. If you look at Jesse Logan and Hope Whitzel's stories, they are eerily exactly like mine with a few different details. The only differences are who we sent the pictures to and that Jesse and Hope both committed suicide. Hope Whitzel was in 8th grade when her picture was forwarded. Her boyfriend left his phone in his classroom desk to go to the bathroom, and a girl took his phone, found the picture of Hope, sent it to her phone, and then sent it on to the entire school. I am often asked how I got better, and that is a question I don't think I will ever be able to answer. Just 6 months after my picture, I felt so alone and scared because the harassment had not let up in school. Luckily, I told my parents, who entered me into therapy, which really helped me get better. I do know that therapy, having my family, and the few friends that stuck by my side was a huge factor in that. Jessie Logan went on her local news channel, blurred out her face, and had her voice changed to try and make a difference. She couldn't go on as herself because the harassment was too bad in her school. What she said has provoked me to get out and start telling my story. She said, "I just want to make sure that no one else will have to go through the same thing," as she choked back tears. Since Jessie and Hope can't tell their stories, I have to continue to tell our story in the hopes that we will help at least one person from making the same mistake. If you are in a position where you are being bullied and feel that there is no way to get out, or that it will never get better, please tell someone you know and trust. The first step to dealing with it is always telling someone what is going on. You can't deal with it alone. And if you are someone who is hurting someone else, take a step back and think about my Jessie and Hope story. It could be you one day. Or it could be your sister, cousin, or best friend going through it. I went from the perfect good girl to the girl that everyone talked about, screamed at, made fun of, and put down. I went from the top tier to the bottom tier just by pressing send. If you are considering sending a naked picture, please think again. Even if you completely trust the other person, you are essentially handing them your entire future by sending a picture of yourself. Your face doesn't even have to be in it. Mine wasn't. It can still haunt you. Even if you know it will never be forwarded, look at Hope's story. It can always fall into the wrong hands. And once it's out there, it can never be brought back. And it can affect your future chances of jobs, colleges, and scholarships. If you have had a picture scandal or have been dealing with bullying, please know that I am living proof that it does get better and that there is life afterwards. I went from never wanting to wake up to telling my story on MTV, The View, HLN, Good Morning America, Dr. Drew, Lifetime TV, and speaking nationwide to schools. I was awarded the Rising Young Woman of Change Award by the New Jersey House and was even invited to and went to the White House to meet with President Obama's senior advisor to talk federal bullying and sexting laws. It took me a long time to figure out who I was after the picture, and I can't say I'm completely over what happened to me because I don't know if I ever will be. I realize now the whole experience helped shape me into who I am. It taught me what true unconditional love is, how to stick up for myself, to not be embarrassed of myself or my actions, to cherish my family and friends, but most importantly, it helped me find my voice. So usually I have a short video to show you guys, so we don't have Wi-Fi in here, so I can't show it to you. But when you get home, if you have the computer, you can Google "My Life is a Lifetime Movie," Ally, and it'll pop up. It's really short, it's like 10 minutes. And it tells you more about my story. And then I open up for questions, if anybody has any questions. At the other school I was at, they asked about the two girls in the picture, if I stayed friends with them. The one girl, she decided she didn't want to be my friend anymore because she didn't want to be bullied because of the picture, so our friendship was ruined really because of it. But the other one really stuck by my side, and she's still one of my closest friends to this day. No, nothing ever happened to him or me. I couldn't go to the police because I could have been charged with more than him. And at that time also, my parents didn't know a lot of what was going on because I kept a lot from them, so they didn't know that like teachers had my picture or stuff like that. If they had known that, we probably would have gone to the police earlier. But it was kind of like reverse psychology because he became the cool kid in high school for having sent out a picture of a girl. So no, nothing really ever happened to him. And a lot of times I like to tell the guys too that you think that it's just a girl issue when girls are fighting or bullying is happening, and it's really not. One of my closest friends who really helped me get better was a guy, and just him walking with me in the hallway or sitting next to me at events helped me to feel protected. And so you guys have a lot of the power too to help somebody.
And I would like to say something else too. I talked with one of the sheriffs earlier today. Allyson spoke in Madison County. And he went on to tell me that if you send a picture to somebody, okay, it could be any picture, it could be a picture of a flower, whatever. But when you send that picture, they have software, hardware, whatever it is. He can get into your phone, he can find it, he can tell you the exact time you took it, where you were standing, I mean everything. So if you think that sending a picture, it's safe, or okay, it's on Snapchat, and we all know we can screenshot things and stuff like that, but any picture that you take at all, whether you think it's funny or it's private, you delete it, then you delete it again because it's in your deleted folders, you have to delete it again, it is not deleted. It is always out there, okay? So the reason why Allie is here is some of you may have already done something like this. And you know what? You can't do anything about that now. But what you can do is from this time forward, not do it again. Okay, so Allie does not like to speak in public at all. But she even went on to say that in college, she almost like quit college because she had to take a public speaking class. And you guys know I don't like to speak either. But she's doing this because she just wants to help you guys. And that's why she is here today. So please hear her message, and please think twice before you take a picture that's inappropriate. And if there's anything out there and you have it on your phone now, please delete it. Forget about it.
Even if you don't take the picture or send it, if you just receive the picture and have it on your phone, you can still be charged too for having that picture on your phone. Any other questions?
There's a lot less questions this afternoon than there was this morning. And Allie has two beautiful little girls and a husband that she was actually met in high school. Her kids are sleeping in the car right now. They're so cute.
Yeah. No, it was someone else in high school. But yeah, he was a grade above me, and so it affected everything, my entire before the picture, I wanted to be a doctor, and I was straight A's. After the picture, because of the bullying, I stopped going to school. I would cut class, and my grades really, I started getting C's and D's. So when it came time to apply to universities, I probably couldn't get into a four-year university, and I didn't want to go away because I didn't want the picture to follow me. And so I went to community college and then technical school. Ended up marrying, my boyfriend. Not that, the new boyfriend, obviously. And then we have 2 girls now, 6 months and 3. So I'm happy with how things turned out.
I got a couple of points very local. As you know, I was an administrator with Thomas County Schools for the last several years while working in Thomasville. Our system had a program that anything that had to do with fight or hurting another student or anything that had to do with sexting or sex talk between 2 students, it contacted the superintendent's office, they contacted the administrators, and we checked it out. At the public schools, we have school resource officers. I work closer with law enforcement than I did with teachers lots of times. And we had this situation that occurred quite often on the 7th, 8th grade age group, even as low as 5th grade age group. We had sexting taking place in teachers, and we had to investigate it. School resource officers, we had to report it to the sheriff's office. And there were cases that middle schoolers were charged with these laws that this young lady shared with. So it not only ruined young people's lives, but the picture was out there and will never get to be able to take it back off of the electronic world, but it also began affecting them through the criminal justice system. And so you don't have to go to New York or Miami or some large place. It's right here in this county, neighboring counties, and thankfully, hopefully, you don't have to deal with these things as possible. But it's a very real thing that if you're involved in this, the next person coming to your door could be law enforcement.
I live like one town over. I live in northern New Jersey. Even though it's New Jersey, I live in a county where we have a lot of farms and like ski resorts up there. So I'm in one of those towns, but I'm still in the same area. So I see a lot of the same people. Even like my ex-boyfriend actually lives one town over from me too. And he has kids the same age as mine. So I see him and his wife out sometimes. I don't talk to him. That's what the other kids had asked if I ever saw him, what I would say to him. But I like to remember that he was a teenager too, and he made a really stupid mistake. Even though he never apologized, and I don't think that he's really sorry. But I just like to think that.
Is everything like still with you? Have some people apologize and like you prefer to report it?
After MTV aired, a lot of people did apologize and said that they didn't realize that I was going through that, or if they didn't realize it was affecting me that much, or if they were like, I didn't realize, I was just trying to be cool in high school, and I'm sorry. And so that was nice.
Miss Ally, you travel across the country and speak to all different ages of kids and adults?
Yes, so usually I speak to middle schoolers, 5th to 8th grade, and then high schoolers, 9th to 12th. And then I'll do like a parents and teachers presentation. I've been to California, Kansas, Michigan, Indiana, a lot of places. A lot of Northeast too, because that's close to me, so I can just travel there. Like Massachusetts, New York. But yeah, I go over. Unfortunately, I'm one of like the only sexting speakers that there is, except for like sheriffs or police departments. I'm one of the only ones who will get up and say that, it happened to me, and I want to try and make a difference positivity that comes with being so open to, anytime anything airs my story, if you read the comments underneath that on Facebook or whatever, probably 70% of the comments are negative, and a lot of it isn't even kids. A lot of it is just adults or parents who are commenting like, wow, I can't believe that girl, what kind of parents did she have, or, she must have daddy issues, stuff like that, stupid stuff, or why did her parents give her a picture phone in the first place? And at that time, I didn't even have a picture phone because it was when picture phones first came out. And so I used my friend's picture phone. And so a lot of times, people don't realize that there's someone else on the other side of the computer reading comments. And so it's really easy to sit on your phone and be nasty or mean. Because you don't realize that somebody could be on the other side crying or could really be affecting them. Any other questions?
I found it very brave of you, and I appreciate your message today. I think it's a powerful message, and even for us adults that, our phone was attached to the wall growing up. We didn't have a lot of these experiences, but being the father of a young boy in 6th grade, I just hope that he is around people who care and love other people, and that they don't treat other people in a way that's derogatory, harmful. So I appreciate your message. It's powerful. And keep on going on and preach it, girl.